All righty, we've got the quarterback room, the moment you've been waiting for, because it's like we've been hearing Kayla DeBoer on today's press conference, and we've got this article from Charlie Potter at On Three for Bama Online,
Hmm.
and he went over the fact that if the quarterback battle was over today, he would go with Simpson. Now, does that mean he's going to be going with Simpson for 2025? Does it mean that he's going with Keelan Russell? Or is it like a hint for Austin Mack to move up a little bit? Like, that's going to be the question there. Because, like, it's like a stock market. You know, it goes up and down, up and down.
Hmm. Yeah.
But what are you thinking about all this, coach?
Well, I think right now it's his job. I watched spring game, and I mean, it was, you couldn't gather anything from it. It was so scripted. It
Thanks.
was just Hodge. I mean, now NCAA, they've ruined the spring game because these teams are not going to go out there and go live. They're all in, their skeleton outfits and stuff like that. Nothing's live. It's two in touch. And so you don't, you gleaned nothing. You could not take one thing away from what you saw. And so here we go again, because now teams are not going to put players out there and let them go full speed and contact and all that kind of stuff, so they can create a highlight film and transfer in the portal, and put their little highlights out there. And so way to go, NCAA, another screw up. And so it was so orchestrated. You couldn't tell. It was too in touch and crap. It's not what a spring game's supposed to be. But I did like Ty Simpson's footwork. I did.
Yeah.
I was watching him and moving those feet, stuff like that. But to be honest with you, it was so too in touch and all that kind of stuff. It was just, I don't even, I'm really unsure if the players were even going full speed. I think they were just going whatever, half baked, and just um,
Maybe they're saving their
trying
basketball
not to
career.
get injured and have some tear an ACL or you know. Anyway, it was awful.
Well, yeah, the QBs were like they were doing pretty good on the spring game, but it's like there are a lot of people bragging about Simpson, bragging about Russell. They're bragging about Austin Mack, seeing what he was doing.
Well, yeah, yeah, but you couldn't tell anything by that spring game. Although now Keelan, I did see him throw a pick into triple coverage, and I'm like, yeah, that's not good. I don't know what he was thinking, but I did see Ty Simpson do a couple of check downs and stuff like that. I did see a lot of penalty. There were no officials out there. That's how bad it was. There were no officials to blow whistles and stuff like that, because you saw penalty after penalty, but there was nobody out there to. So I felt bad for the fans, because you couldn't tell anything about that. It was a joke. Spring
Well,
games, historically, spring games are I don't want to say scripted, but they're supposed to be where you finally are in a game situation and you prove your worth. You prove where you need to be on the depth chart, in the fall. But now it's all scripted crap, because we're not going to send schools, little videos for highlight crap so they can go in the portal. But I did see. I think this is interesting. If you've got that JPEG or that PDF, I did look. And you may want to blow it up, Jack. I'm sorry. I think I made it a little small. You may see it. You got the magic finger. Yeah, felt like that's a little small. Um, but anyway, you can see that was spring game offense. You can see the offense. Spring game. This is the offense starters that I saw. Um, and people that showed out, I've heard good things about Rico Scott. On the offensive line, on the left side, you've got Allen. That's that guy from Norway or Finland.
Well, Harden says that Ty was reading the defense a lot better, and Keelan did it on the first play, but he settled down and played better.
Yeah, I know what he's talking about. That first play, that interception, man, right over the middle of the field was like gruesome. I was like, "What are you seeing?" I don't know if it's a called route. Sometimes there's called routes. You're gonna throw it to this guy, blah blah. He should be open. We think they're gonna do this and all that kind of stuff. I don't know, but if it's a read, he read it wrong. But you can look up there. Alanen is the guy I want to say from Finland, big guy. And then there's Dewberry. He was from Texas A&M, right? There's Brailsford, and then Jaden Roberts, and then Formby. The guy from Tuscaloosa there. That was the starting. That was the ones they put out there first. And I know that we got injuries, so don't start jumping down my throat with regard to that. But I'm just telling you what I saw. And then you see Isaiah Horton out there, and on the right, and then Simpson and Young. There at the running back on defense, you can see um, Pierre Keenan, Edric Hill, Rousseau over there on the right. Now he would flip. He's stronger or whatever. Sometimes right, sometimes on the left. And then I like this name if it's really, but QB Reese.
Yeah.
Is that his first name? QB.
Let me see.
But anyway, he was out.
That's what it says.
All right, well, I'm pretty cool with that right there. QB Reese out there on the edge, and then Caden Jones and Duke Johnson, and so you can see, and then the secondary, lot of good depth in the secondary. I like Alabama's defense heading into the fall, that kind of stuff. But right there, that was who rolled out there first team, first against the first, and then they rolled second team Austin Mack and then those guys, and then a lot of guys were held out, which is understandable. I just didn't like the old the way it was set up, and I felt bad for those fans down there. And you want to see somebody get lit up, you driving down whatever, how many hours to go down there and watch a game, and they're out there in practice, and whatever, and nobody's getting jacked up, and you're not even hearing pads go bam, you're not even hearing that.
Yeah.
So, way to go, NCAA, killing it.
But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with the QB situation. Although it's kind of like I don't think everything's decided all now. It's just we'll know more by the time we get.
I'm gonna beg to differ. I think Ty Simpson is. I think they're gonna roll with him. Now it comes down. I'm not saying. I'm not predicting the full season, but I'm saying that first couple of games, they're going with Ty Simpson. If they weren't, we'd already know something. So
yeah,
and I liked what I saw from him. I liked his footwork and everything. I don't know about this scripted crap and what they were wanting to do and all this other kind of stuff, but he's the guy. Get used to it, Bama fans. Ty Simpson is your opening game starter, and he deserves it.
That would be sweet. Like if we can get him be our starter, like officially, that'd be cool.
Yeah,
I'm already just looking forward to it for sure.
I think probably Coach DeBoer. I mean, Coach Saban did it many times. You're going to leave it open, and you're not going to name a starter, or maybe they will. I don't know, but not name a starter. Let it be open so these guys keep busting their butts and trying to think they're going to win the job and stuff like that. But my gut right now tells me Ty Simpson is the man.
There you go.
There you go. That's why they pay me the big bucks. Make it rain. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh man. That's gonna be funny.
Yeah.